PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to another episode of PACTV Community News. We have a great show tonight with stories from Duxbury, Kingston, Pembroke, and Plymouth. But we want to start out with some great news from one of our regular contributors to our health and wellness segment. In the South Shore Living magazine's Best of the South Shore poll, Healthy Appetites in Plymouth was voted Best Nutrition Center, and owners Jeff and Ilene Hills Best Local Radio Personalities for their show, All Things Food and Health, that airs on WATD 95.9. Congratulations, Jeff and Ilene.
Well, that's great news. Tonight we bring you to a unique scholarship fundraiser, meet a growing family sports consignment shop, and stop into a delicate mill tune-up at Plymouth Gristmill.
We meet some families who are working for women's sports equality with a new take on a shirt benefit, and get an update on the Kingston Library's building needs.
Town Talk brings Kingston Town Administrator to the set, and Health and Wellness brings us to the benefits of massage therapy from Plymouth Fitness.
It's a full show, and we begin with a multi-town book reading. 3 libraries from 3 different towns, 1 independent bookstore, and 1 book, The Boston Girl. That's what was in store for South Shore book lovers as 3 area libraries teamed up with West Wind's bookstore to host critically acclaimed author Anita Diamant for an evening with an author at the Duxbury Performing Arts Center. Brian Sullivan has the story.
When 3 libraries and 1 independent bookstore pool their resources together to host an author event, the odds are pretty good that the night will not only be successful, but will draw a much larger crowd than it would had it only been 1 library. However, the crowd that came out to see Anita Diamant for the Tri-Town Summer Read may have been greater than anyone had expected.
Tonight marks the first time that all 3 libraries, Duxbury, Marshfield, and Kingston, have collaborated together. And by the size of the turnout, it looks like it could be an annual event.
The organizers we spoke with heaped most of the praise on the owner of West Wind's bookstore for putting the whole night together.
Of West Wind's Bookshop thought it would be a terrific idea if we floated the idea to our terrific Friends of the Library organizations in the 3 towns, because we wanted to build a substantial audience for the book. And she was right, because the excitement and the enthusiasm is abounding.
Not only did the 3 towns attract a sizable crowd, but they also caught the attention of the state reps from each town, each of whom had glowing words for his town's library. It's just the type of exposure they were hoping for with this event.
Libraries are all about connections, and this is exactly the kind of connection and community building that we really love to do.
Aside from the 3 male state representatives that showed up, it appeared this would be a female-dominated gathering, which speaks volumes about men's reading habits. And it's a problem even our best and brightest librarians can't solve.
That is a century-old problem, and I have 5 brothers. I haven't solved it yet. Most of our author events are attended by primarily women, but there's always men that sort of wander in. I would say that contemporary fiction is mostly read by women. Unfortunately, men are still watching that darn sports channel.
In the end, an author night like this is a great way to show the livelier side of your local library.
I hope they're thinking that the library is an exciting place to get ideas and meet people and collaborate on things.
In Duxbury, Brian Sullivan, PACTV Community News.
When the U.S. women's soccer team won the World Cup, it was not only a great moment in women's sports, it was a great moment for U.S. sports. But if you wanted a T-shirt or any clothing that celebrated the victory the way it's done, when any male team wins a major sporting event, like the World Series, Super Bowl, or Stanley Cup, to name a few, it was impossible to find any. Sporting goods stores claimed there was no demand, and that was just enough for one family to prove there was. This is their story.
No, yeah, blue flag used small, and then a white flag used large.
Today is the first day of our T-shirt pickup for a program that our family created to celebrate the Women's World Cup victory. After the final game, after the Team USA won the World Cup, we were really excited to go get our celebration shirts, just as we had many times before for the World Series and the Super Bowl and other major sports victories. And we went to our local major sporting goods retailer, and much to our disappointment, they didn't have any in store, and more to the point, they weren't planning on bringing any into the store. Our feeling about why those shirts weren't in store the way you would typically see celebration shirts for these types of sports championships is that we're talking about female athletes, and we feel that female athletes aren't valued as their male counterparts are. And so that was a statement that our retail community made, and we wanted to make a counterstatement. So we decided to create some of our own.
I definitely wanted a soccer ball in the picture because it's obviously about soccer. And I mean, it's definitely great to have that feeling after you scored a goal. And I really thought that maybe we could show like a picture of the net, some of the net and a soccer ball going through it. And it kind of worked its way into shape.
The money raised from this program, 100% of the profits is going to the Women's Sports Foundation, which is a really wonderful program that kind of focuses on two different areas that was appealing to all of us. And Molly and our entire family was involved with that decision. So we know that over 25 million Americans watched the final of the Women's World Cup. And that was record-breaking. It was more than the NBA final, I read, more than the Stanley Cup final. I think we get accustomed to female athletes not being valued the way they should be, and these are professional athletes. And I think it's time for that to start shifting, and this is just our little way of trying to make that happen.
I really hope that women and girls get to be treated equally the same as men, and that they can really show off their shirts and tell other people about them.
Opie, come here.
Yeah, it was so funny after the long, but
Take that over.
Nice looking T-shirts. Now I wonder if next time things will change around a little bit. What do you think?
Well, they're going to win again.
Yeah.
but
Oh, yes.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them for
Yeah.
doing that. And I was really surprised too, because my husband and I went to get something to wear,
Yeah,
and
sure.
we found the same problem, and I was absolutely shocked that there was nothing for this.
Nothing.
And this was so well publicized, and so many people watched it.
I didn't watch the game, but I watched
Yeah,
the whole,
it was
the
crazy.
recap of it.
Good for
Wonderful.
them.
Yeah,
good for
very
them.
good for them.
Right. And speaking of sports, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. That's the story for Family Sports Consignment store owner Todd Brown, who moved his store from a very small upstairs space to a larger space downstairs on Columbia Road in Pembroke. With two boys of his own, Brown knows firsthand how expensive youth sports can be. So he took the concept of consignment clothing and put an athletic twist on it.
Consignment used to be a word synonymous with clothes only. But things have changed with the economy. Youth baseball now can cost in the hundreds of dollars. Youth hockey can reach the thousands.
With kids' sports and sporting equipment getting more and more expensive all the time, store owner Todd Brown is helping to lend a hand so the kids don't have to pick and choose which sports they can and can't afford to play.
One of the main reasons why I opened this business was mainly on a personal level. My wife is a stay-at-home mom. I've got two young boys, very active in sports. And to be honest with you, without a place like this, it would be limited as to the number of sports I would be able to allow them to play.
Brown considers what he does a way of going green, which benefits parents when their kids outgrow their new equipment so quickly.
95% of the inventory is from parents that have kids that have outgrown the gear. They keep it in good condition, they bring it in, they put it on consignment. They're able to make a little bit money back on what obviously was pretty expensive for them to begin with purchasing new. I also have a few affiliates out in, the Western Mass, also like in the western part of the states, California and whatnot, where I'm able to get brand new equipment at wholesale prices.
Having his store location in Pembroke was an easy decision for Brown.
It's a huge sports community. I live in Plymouth, but I opted to run the business in Pembroke just because of where it's located and exactly how many sporting teams there are. The Pembroke, Hanover, Duxbury line, it's tremendous. with the amount of different teams and the ages and the amount of teams that are in and affiliated with a certain league compared to other towns.
While the sign outside says grand opening, the store had always been in that location. It just wasn't as visible.
Being upstairs, 750 square feet, it's amazing how few people in this town even knew I existed. You know, moving down here to triple the space, about 2,200 square feet, a nice store frontage with bay windows and whatnot. It's been a dramatic increase of foot traffic, consigners, customers, everything. It's been wonderful in the mere 2 weeks that I've reopened down here on the floor level.
In Pembroke, I'm Brian Sullivan, PACTV Community News.
The Plymouth Gristmill's mill recently had a tune-up from highly respected millwright Jim Cricker. Mr. Cricker was working on what's called the birdcage gear, which changes the direction and speed of the energy created. PCN was invited to stop in for this hands-on job to learn more.
We're really excited to have Jim here working with us. Jim is a really well-respected millwright, and there aren't, as you can guess, there aren't too many of those around anymore, so we're really happy to have him come and help us kind of tune everything up so that we can run this really wonderful machine again and show people and explain to people these kind of ancient technologies. It's just such a pleasure to watch someone who is helping us kind of maintain these old ways of doing things, these old skills, which, you know, I think today we think of technology as being computers and digital things, but this is technology that we still use and that we still learn from. So it's great to see somebody practice that. And we're really, really looking forward to having our mill run like clockwork so that we can show people how you turn corn into cornmeal and samp, which is our northern version of grits.
What I'm doing here today is doing what would be mainly routine maintenance in a mill like this. We made some new rounds, they're called, for one of the gears. They essentially work as the teeth. Set that gear back into position. Now I'm aligning the shaft that gear sits on with the stones, the bottom stone, and then after that I'll be aligning the two gears in this gear train together so that they work as a pair and as quietly and smoothly as possible. What we did is rebuilt the lantern pinion gear, also called the stone nut in this mill, and that's a relatively primitive type of gear but very effective for this application. All the teeth or rounds in this mill are made out of wood, relatively hard wood, but they do wear. I think this mill is maybe 45 years old or so quite a bit of wear on the rounds. So we replaced all those rounds with new hard maple, put the gear back together again, and have reinstalled it now. The other projects we'll be doing here will be to align the gears with each other so that they are in the proper relationship to each other, so they work quietly and smoothly and transmit power as they should. In the course of doing that, we'll be doing some re-wedging and repositioning the large face gear that engages with the lantern pinion gear. We'll also be doing a little work on the stones, setting up the spindle, leveling the bed stone, just basically a tune-up for the mill. These mills have been around for centuries and centuries in one form or another, and are very effective. Maybe not as efficient in some ways as modern machinery, but in other ways a lot nicer on the environment.
You know, our different Plymouth plantations, different sites tell different aspects of the history of Plymouth and slightly different time periods. So we're really excited to be able to share, kind of to integrate technology and a little math and a little physics with history.
We have so many really cool things in this area, like the gristmill. And it's really interesting to see that there's people around that can actually still fix them and work on them and have that skill set.
Yes, like old Volkswagens.
Exactly, just like it.
And I was fascinated to see how that gear worked.
I know, it's really neat. And like she said, it could be replaced by modern technology, but the impact on the environment would be completely different.
Yes.
And the history behind that is beautiful.
There is a lot of history there.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Blakeman's in Duxbury recently held a beach scholarship fundraiser, and it was all about paint, raffles, food, and fun. PCN stopped in to hear more.
tonight we are raising funds for the Duxbury Park Scholarship Fund. We've raised $800 tonight, and it's just a big painting party. We've invited people from all over the community to come and paint with us. Many people who've come here, this is their first time painting. They've never participated in an event like this, so it's great to just get outside, paint in plein air, which, you know, we don't always get to do, especially myself. I'm always stuck in a studio, so for me it's great to paint outside, but for everyone here, I'm sure it's a real treat. It's a great way to raise money for the scholarship fund too. When they first asked me to do this event, I was thinking maybe something with sailboats or the beach, but I wanted something that was really quintessentially Duxbury. So when I met with Vanessa here, I was just looking around, and I have never been back here before, and I said, let's just do the facade of the building. There's so many unique little buoys here, so colorful. And so I took a bunch of photographs, and I did a few different paintings, and my final draft is the one that we're painting tonight.
The scholarship started last year, was the first year we did it, and we did a movie night, which was awesome, and everyone loved it, but we give the scholarship out to Pembroke, Silver Lake, and Duxbury students, and unfortunately we were only able to raise $100 each. So this year we wanted to do something a little bigger because $100 isn't too much towards schools, so we decided to do the paint night event. And the question in the scholarship was, what does growing up on Duxbury Beach mean to you? What did it mean to you growing up? And we got responses, everything from poems to, letters just explaining that kids didn't have a lot of money to go on vacation, and they would come here as their getaway, or they'd drive here when they first got their license and get away and just think, or they liked to fish over the bridge, and it meant so much to so many people that I don't think we expected to get that kind of response from so many kids. So it really opened our eyes to what Duxbury Beach actually does mean to these kids. And so this year, as of right now, we were able to triple the scholarship that we are giving to them. So instead of the $100 from last year, we're able to give $300 to each of the students from Pembroke, Duxbury, and Silver Lake. So we're really, really excited about it. And it means a lot to us personally, because a lot of the kids that are getting these scholarships have worked here or come through here, and this means so much to them that it's really great for us to be able to give back to the community.
Today's technology allows us to download entire books onto our portable tablets without using any paper. And if you want the paper kind, there are online resources where you can order them and not even leave your house. You might assume all this would put your local library out of business, but you'd be wrong. A recent study has shown that a large majority of Americans still want and love their local libraries. Libraries are not only keeping up with today's technology, but they're free, aside from some overdue fees, of course. Ryan Sullivan has the story from Kingston.
As you pass the corner of Summer and Green Street in Kingston, you'll see the town's headquarters for community resources, the Kingston Public Library.
In these days where it seems like just about everybody has a Kindle or a tablet where they can read their books online, it's easy to forget that not everybody has access to this technology. Some of us still get our books the old-fashioned way from the library. Let's head inside and talk to Sia Stewart, where she can give us a refresher on just how important your public library is to building a strong community.
On your way in, you'll see the meeting room, where you can see everything from informative presentations to meetings with local authors. Passing through the children's section, we head out into the courtyard to meet with Sia Stewart, the library's director.
The library today is a community place. It's a place where people come to use resources that we have that they may not have, and a place where they can get access to things like our expertise, helping them find things that they may not know how to find. It's often things that are going to be really useful to them in their lives.
In fact, a recent study showed that 80% of Americans say that borrowing books from the library is a very important service. Others come here just to get away from the hustle and bustle of daily life and maybe just read the newspaper. Let's not forget the computers. In that same survey, nearly 80% of respondents over the age of 16 said that free access to the internet and computers was also a very important service provided by the library.
Often they're looking for help with online job searching. I remember a couple of years ago a young woman in Kingston who was really having a tough time finding a job. She eventually did find a job, and she wrote a lovely letter to us saying that our help with using the computers and learning which job sites to use was really important for her, and she thought that was probably the most significant factor in her successful job search.
And if you're not so good with the technical side of things and need some help with the computers, they have a class for that. The library also provides a place where, if you've got little ones, they can go, make a little noise, and maybe even do some learning at the same time, as the library has taken advantage of the STEM programs available. They've also teamed up with Kingston Senior Center, where they'll host author programs as well as have their monthly locavore meetings.
What we're hoping is that by collaborating, we will expand the audience, we will bring the programs to more people, we will make more people familiar with the Senior Center, and we think it's just going to be a great partnership.
Kingston collaborated with 2 other South Shore libraries and West Wind's Bookshop recently to host author Anita Diamond.
While she was speaking, she gave this really wonderful image about libraries that I just would like to share. She said that a good library is a sign of a healthy community, and a community where people care about each other.
At the Kingston Public Library, Brian Sullivan, PACTV Community News.
Our health and wellness segment takes us to Plymouth Fitness to hear about the benefits of massage therapy.
Hi, I'm David Bannerman with your PCN Health and Wellness segment. So what we're talking about today is massage therapy and the benefits to your health and wellness. Many people come with a complaint, soreness, tightness, pain. Other people are just coming in for maintenance, and they've realized that it has helped them do their job or their workout better, or just feel better. If you're getting a massage on a massage table, you'll lay down, face down, and usually get your back worked on first. The shoulders area, the neck area are usually what people request the most. In the shoulder area, many people have tight traps and will work on stretching those out. Takes a little strain off of the neck. And the arm nerves that run through that area will feel better, and you'll have better arm and hand function. This massage recipient has clothing on. She just did a workout, and she has some tightness in her legs. Her hamstrings and her IT band require the most work, and that takes a little bit of pressure off of the hip and the knee joints. From there, the calf muscle gets worked on, and oftentimes we'll do some traction to stretch out these relaxed muscles and help the low back and leg joints feel better. When you're getting a massage, you'll try to get a full body massage that lengthens and relaxes the muscles. This will often decompress the joints around the shoulders, elbows, arms, and hands, where most of our work is done. When you're getting a chair massage, you may have a specific area that you want to target. Oftentimes the neck and shoulder will be so tight that will create some tension and turning your head. You can't turn correctly, or even you'll feel a headache from those same symptoms and same conditions. Some people will go for a long, long time before taking some time out to take care of themselves. You will benefit from a massage in that you're taking time out for yourself, but you're really getting the nervous system to relax and recharge. Some of the other benefits of massage are increased circulation, decreased stress, and when you unjam a joint or decompress a joint, you will naturally feel and be stronger in the muscles that surround that joint. Thanks for watching. This has been your PCN Health and Wellness segment.
For this week's Town Talk, we bring Kingston's Town Administrator Bob Fennessy to our set. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Thank you for being here again. We're going to talk about 4 important things going on with Kingston. The Kingston Collection, what's updated with that. The different offerings from the Public Library for the fall. The Adams Center and what's going on at the Adams Center, what it is for people that don't know. And Kingston's own take on the Plymouth 400. So start with the Kingston Collection.
In Kingston, we're very excited that the Kingston Collection has been rebranded, and they're obviously making major changes there right now. There's new restaurants going in, dining, entertainment, and I'll just highlight a few things that are happening right now. The Sky Zone, which is a trampoline park. It's an indoor trampoline park, is going in. Will open sometime later, probably in the fall, maybe late summer. That's going to have 24,000 square feet of a building space with 14,000 square feet of trampolines.
Wow.
And it's going to have all kinds of programs, including activities that are fun fitness activities for children and adults. And I'll just read a few. The main court, they'll have 3 ultimate dodgeball courts, a foam zone for big air and soft landing, a large Sky Slam basketball dunk courts, with 3 hoops for all ages and a toddler court.
Wow.
So it's something that's going to draw a lot of people from the region.
Okay.
This is the first one in New England that's coming here. So it's very exciting.
Yep.
And that goes along with the K1 racing that is already in there.
Yep.
And that's been a huge success. A lot of people coming to have either birthday parties or get involved in their programs of racing and so forth. So that's great.
Okay.
There's the Clark's Outlet, which is a retail shoe company, is moving in. It's going to be the first one on the South Shore. And that goes back 200 years ago to 1825 when they made their first pair of slippers in Somerset, England. And it's developed into now over 22,000 styles of shoes and slippers and so forth.
Interesting.
Boots. So that's exciting, and that's kind of a draw too.
Yep.
Some of the other things that are going on is the restaurants. We have Waxy's, which is an upscale Irish pub, is going in, and people may know that name, but this is a kind of a new look for Waxy's. That'll be opening sometime late summer, early fall, as well as Latitude 360, and that's kind of a restaurant. And you may have seen this new type of facility, a restaurant with bowling alleys and pool tables
It's
and
like a
music.
destination place.
And that's going, and that'll be massive. They'll have live music there, and it'll for all ages and all
lots of stuff
types.
going on at the
There's
Kingston
so many
Collection.
things. They're also putting in a Wayback Burger place, so that goes back to the 50s with the decor. So that's exciting.
So we got a minute to
We
talk
move
about
into the library. The library on September 3rd, they're doing a story time for toddlers and babies. And you can go on to Kingston Library kingstonpubliclibrary.org, and get all the information. One of the things that they're sponsoring, which is the library and the Adams Center, is the Villamo Finnish Folk Duo Concert, and that's at 33 Summer Street. It's our renovated old library, and there's only 34 spaces available for that. That's going to take place at the end of the month. So I think if you're interested, you got to go on the library and get your time. And the other thing, and I'm talking fast, is Mary Beth Sheehan is a spirit medium and she'll be at the Adams Center on Saturday, August 29th from 7 to 9, and she can help bring people together with their deceased and so forth. So again, go on the Adams Center or the library and get that information.
Okay, so we don't really have time, unfortunately, for the Adams Center or the Plymouth 400. So we'll have to cover that next time.
Okay, that's great.
But you give us a lot.
We have 5 years to go.
Yes, we do.
To get to
do that.
The 400. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much for joining us today. Thanks for watching this week's show. Replay times are listed on our website, pactv.org, or find us on YouTube. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter to receive previews and links to all of our stories. See you next week for more PCN.